Clap once if you can hear me. All right, clap 2 times if you can hear me. All right, I'm glad we're together. I have a few quick announcements before we begin worship service this morning. And blessing of the backpacks will happen on Saturday, August 13th from 5 to 7 p.m. And this is going to be a pizza party, a game night. So if you are even past your schooling years, please come for the fellowship and to spend some time with others together. We're doing a school supply drive for Wagner Middle School, named after George Wagner, one of our founding members. So please join us on Saturday, August 13th. We are looking for facilitators for Our Whole Lives sexuality education. We want to offer this in the fall for our 7th through 9th graders, but we need 2 people to get trained at First UU in Austin. So that's in September, a weekend in September. You are fed well when you take that training. It is intensive, but we need 2 people, unrelated people, to be facilitators. So please let me know if you can commit to that work. It is a significant commitment. Next Sunday, Eric Walton, who traveled to DC as part of the Poor People's Campaign, will be talking about his experiences there. So please come next Sunday to learn all about how we can help fight poverty and not the poor. Fighting poverty and not the poor. And lastly, I have a little request. We would love, and this is an interesting thing, we would love to have a little handout of these kind of announcements for people to leave the sanctuary with. So if you would like to help produce a handout like that, let me know. We're trying to have something physical for people to have as a reminder of all the great things that we are doing here at San Gabriel. So let me know. All right, let us now begin.
Good morning. Welcome to San Gabriel Unitarian Universalist Fellowship. Whether you are here in the sanctuary or watching at home, we are so glad you are here. My name is Linda Mueller, and I've been a member of this fellowship since 2015. No one is more surprised than I am to be on the board as secretary this year. For many years, I've been content to just remain on the fringes of this fellowship. However, as our country is changing so dramatically, I came to recognize that all of our voices, our very presence, is needed now more than ever in Georgetown. For several years, a loyal cadre of our members faithfully attended Zoom meetings, services created week after week by some of our most dedicated and creative members. These virtual meetings were a lifeline for me during the worst of the pandemic. They still are. I decided then that I needed to participate more fully. If I'm not going to do it at this age of 80, when? My early years were spent in Connecticut. I became an elementary school teacher. My first husband was in the Navy. We raised our family in Virginia Beach. I earned a master's degree and then became a reading specialist. After 33 years in education, I retired. In 1997, I married Hans Mueller and came to Texas, which was a huge adjustment. 1997 was quite a year. I relocated, I retired, I remarried, and I had a knee replacement. Quite a year. It's hard to believe that 25 years have gone by. We've been happily married, moved to Sun City 10 years ago, and together we've been privileged to travel the world, visiting over 89 countries. We share the same views. We've experienced firsthand the commonalities of all people. So I'm delighted to have this opportunity to serve our fellowship. I may not know all of you, but I do know that we all share common values and views. San Gabriel is a member congregation of the Unitarian Universalist Association. If you would like to know more about us and learn about upcoming events, please go to our website and sign up for our newsletter. Please know, wherever you are from, whomever you love, wherever you are on your life's journey, whatever your gender identity or immigration status, you are welcome here. And now I think we're going to have the opening hymn, and we'd like you to raise in spirit. It's page 364 in the hymnal, and I think the lyrics will be projected. And now for our chalice lighting. Let us now light our chalice with the words of UU Minister Joe Cherry. As we gather together for worship this morning, being both near and far, we light our chalice as we do each week. It is a symbol of our faith. May its light be a beacon of hope for those who feel lost, those who feel threatened, those who feel tired, those who are uncertain. May our beacon of hope help you find home, help you feel safe, give you respite, and honor your searching mind and spirit.
Lay down your cares, my friends. May this time of worship together be one of sustenance, of respite, of challenge, and of inspiration. I share with you the words of UU minister Sean Parker Dennison as we recognize the tension of our busy lives and the need to rest. They say, I have been called countless times just this morning, just this moment, this breath that I am holding for one extra heartbeat is calling. This tiny speck of dust floating above me in the light is calling. This child with sticky hands that wants me to look, is calling. This task, this thought, this plan that crowds my overcrowded mind is calling. This day, rushing through hours towards dishes and chores before bed is calling. This dream of before you died and longing for more time is calling. This deeper sleep, dreamless, empty time of repair and healing is calling. This joy and that sorrow, the tear that mingles both with compassion, is calling. This place and this whole world full of suffering and beauty are always calling. May this time of worship together be a time that offers you space to both release and then pick up again and again all the callings of our lives.
And now it's time for our affirmation. Our affirmation is an expression of our covenant with one another. Please read after me. The words will be projected. The doctrine of this church is love.
We are here to love.
The quest of truth is its sacrament. We are here to learn. Service is its prayer. To care for others. To dwell together in peace.
We are here to live in peace.
To seek knowledge in freedom.
We are here to honor our differences.
To serve humanity in fellowship.
We are all
Connected in spirit. To the end that all souls shall grow in harmony with the divine.
We are here to grow.
This we promise to do together. And now it is time for our Wonder Box, and I believe Della is here to share with us.
Hello, let's help each other learn and grow. What do you think is in this wonder box? Shout your guesses. A rock? Playing cards? A donut? Do we have any other guesses? Huh? A what? Oh, a fan? Okay, let's open it up and see. We have some fish. We have another fish. Have you ever seen a fish swim? Big fish swim alone, and often little fish swim in groups. Let's listen now to the story and see what some little fish do.
Swimmy by Leo Leone, published by Scholastic Books. A happy school of little fish lived in a corner of the sea somewhere. They were all red. Only one of them was as black as a mussel shell. He swam faster than his brothers and sisters. His name was Swimmy. One bad day, a tuna fish, swift, fierce, and very hungry, came darting through the waves. In one gulp, he swallowed all the little red fish. Only Swimmy escaped. He swam away in the deep, wet world. He was scared, lonely, and very sad. But the sea was full of wonderful creatures, and as he swam from marvel to marvel, Swimmy was happy again. He saw a Medusa made of rainbow jelly, a lobster who walked about like a water-moving machine, strange fish pulled by an invisible thread, a forest of seaweeds growing from sugar candy rocks, an eel whose tail was almost too far away to remember, and sea anemones who looked like pink palm trees swaying in the wind. Then, hidden in the dark shade of rocks and weeds, he saw a school of little fish, just like his own. "Let's go and swim and play and see things," he said happily. "We can't," said the little fish. "The big fish will eat us all." "But you can't just lie there," said Swimmy. "We must think of something." Swimmy thought and thought and thought. Then suddenly he said, "I have it! We are going to swim together like the biggest fish in the sea." He taught them to swim close together, each in his own place. And when they had learned to swim like one giant fish, he said, "I'll be the eye." And so they swam in the cool morning water and in the midday sun and chased the big fish away. The end.
In 6th grade, I wasn't very interested in socializing, but other people noticed that I was by myself. They sat with me and started talking to me. They encouraged me to talk with others so I could make friends. That made me feel really nice. When Swimmy met the scared group of little red fish, he encouraged them to come out and organize as a big fish so they could be safe. Just like the scared fish, I had people who encouraged me to talk to people, make friends, and be brave. That really supported me.
Thank you, Della. Oh, and here's your mask. We have a couple children in our nursery this morning with Mr. Spoon and Hush. There are crafts at the back of the room if you wanted to go and do that. You are free to go now. You don't need to be at the chancel anymore. We have those little crafting items are for anyone who would like to keep their hands busy while they're listening to in the sanctuary today. So welcome, and it is so good to be together, whether we are here in the sanctuary or watching from home. I'm honored to be in the pulpit today, continuing Reverend Jamie's traffic light sermon series. This series began with red light, where we were encouraged to slow down, to pause, so that we can have time to take stock and reassess our purpose and mission as a UU congregation in Georgetown, Texas. Next month, we will be devoting time every Sunday to that question, and really listen to one another as well. So many of us have been busy putting together our services each week and keeping this congregation going through so many trials and challenges. It will be good to have a break and take time to share why we love this place, this faith so much. And then last week, Reverend Jamie shined a green light for us where we look forward with joy to the challenges ahead of us. That embracing joy, in fact, is a way that we sustain ourselves for the work ahead. Because as Unitarian Universalists, our theology calls us not to do all we can to get to heaven, but instead do all we can to bring heaven to earth. It's a much harder task, but also with joy inherent in that work, because heaven to me is certainly a joyful place. So we must make room for joy. So as we continue this metaphor of a traffic light, I am of course left with yellow, and maybe not as clear a symbology as there is with green or red. When Linda and I were chatting last week, I asked her what she thought it meant, and she immediately said caution. And that makes a lot of sense. When that yellow light comes on, it is letting us know that change is about to take place. We need to slow down. We will need to stop, or perhaps even sometimes we see a blinking yellow light that means that we should take extra care as we drive or bike or walk down the street. Perhaps a train is coming. Any other things that come to mind for you when you see a yellow light? You can shout out what you think you might mean for you. A yellow light flashing. Look before you turn. Absolutely. Look in the rear view mirror. Yes, exactly. So, oh, I love it. A star on top of a Christmas tree is a beautiful yellow light. Absolutely. So a yellow light is about getting our attention and warning us that a change is needed, and there are many ways we are called to pay attention through sounds, language, actions. When Linda mentioned this to me, my first thought was we need to be sure to pay attention to our bodies. That was what came to my mind. That how we're feeling inside physically is an excellent yellow light to perhaps proceed with caution, whether that's if we're actually starting to feel sick or noticing that our heart is racing and our pulse is up because we're feeling challenged or uncomfortable by the news or a conversation, you name it. How are you feeling right now? Let's take a moment to check in with our bodies right now. We can do what's called a body scan meditation. So first, take a look around and notice that you are safe in this environment. And then bring attention to your body. You can soften your gaze or even close your eyes. Feel the support of the chair underneath you. Take some deep breaths that feel comfortable. Relax into the exhale. Notice your feet on the floor. There is weight there, pressure. You can notice your legs on the chair and your back against the chair supporting you. Bring your attention to your stomach. Is it tight? Can you allow it to soften? Notice your hands. Are they tight? Or your arms? Anything that feels tight, try to soften it. Your neck, throat, jaw. Allow them to soften as well. And then notice your whole body present in the moment. Take one more deep breath. Be aware of your whole body as best you can. And then slowly open your eyes without focusing. Rotate your neck and head gently and take in this space. Return to your normal gaze when you are ready. Did you notice any change in yourself after paying attention to your body? Perhaps you were more in a comfortable state before we began. Sorry, I messed that up. Perhaps you were in a comfortable state before we began, but if you weren't, I hope you are more at ease now. Perhaps paying attention, noticing when there are some yellow lights in front of us, is a way for us to carve out meaningful moments of reflection on what may be missing for us in that moment. Identifying what we are lacking is often the first step to resolving the need for a cautionary yellow light. Whether that is something as simple as needing sleep or food, hangry isn't a word for nothing, or a deeper dissatisfaction, being able to identify what you are in need of and then articulating the support you need is one way we can get back on the road again. The support of a listening friend, prayer, and all forms of spiritual practice, your UU faith, community, mutual aid, good health care, family, all of these things are different ways we can find support. And so this is where we are going to complete our traffic light. I have some yellow circles. Heather, could you help me pass this? I have some yellow circles. Linda thought of caution, and for me, the yellow light meant support. We've talked about how paying attention can help you identify what you're lacking and what you need for support. If you are feeling cautious, what support do you need to feel brave again? What kind of supports help you to feel strong? Please write down on your circle what support you need to help you get back to your fullest self. And let's take a deep cleansing breath and exhale. For the joys shared, we join together in celebration. For sorrows and concerns, we feel empathy and compassion. For all that remains unspoken, may the caring of this community offer a space of deep kindness and care. I invite you now to join me in our metta meditation that from the Buddhist tradition that our San Gabriel children know so well. I will ring the bowl and hold for silence when we are done, for as long as we can hear it. So first we think of ourselves, and you can repeat after me. May I be happy. May I be healthy. And may I be filled with love. Now we think of someone else we wish to extend that to, someone deep we care for in our hearts. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be filled with love. Now we think of someone we've had trouble with, someone we offer well wishes to. May they be happy. May they be healthy. May they be filled with love. Lastly, we want this for the whole world. What a transformed world we would have if we were all in this loving kindness. May we be happy. May we be healthy. May we be filled with love.
It's now time for our second hymn. Let us sing together again. Please rise and body your spirit. The words for our hymn are on page 1021, Lean on Me. The lyrics will be projected.
Sometimes in our lives, we all have pain, we all have sorrow. But if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me when you're not strong. I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Please swallow my pride if I have things you need to borrow, for no one can fill those of your needs that you won't let show. Lean on me when you're not strong, I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Just call on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you understand. We all need somebody to lean on. Just call on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you understand. We all need somebody to lean on. If there is a load you have to bear that you can't carry, I'm right up the road. I'll share your load if you just call me, call me, call me,
Call me
call
when
me,
you need a friend.
call me.
Call me.
Yay, good job. And that was our family choir that recorded that when we were not meeting in person. And so it was lovely to hear them again. I have served as San Gabriel's Director of Religious Education for 5 years now, and I'm entering my 6th year. And what a journey it has been, bringing Unitarian Universalism to children and their families. We have grown a lot together. I remember that one of the first times I was in this pulpit, I asked for a show of hands for a particular question. And I'm going to do that again. How many of you were cradle UUs, raised as a Unitarian Universalist from birth or close to it? Is there anyone here? And now I'll ask, how many of you wish you had been? I think most of us feel that way. And back then it was also that clear that we would have wanted this faith home for ourselves at a young age, and it was my way of charging the congregation with accepting the responsibility of creating such a home for those who find their way here. In many respects, as a religious educator, I feel that offering that welcome should be central to what we are about at San Gabriel. And what do you think that looks like if it was central to what we are doing? In the past 5 years, it has looked one way. Children are here until the Wonderbox story is read, and then they are off to their classes. And we've had a few programs like Surprise Pals or the Holiday Pageant, picnics, and more that bring children and elders into closer relationship. And of course, amazing mentors and guides who help teach our children, giving of their time almost every Sunday. But I call to mind the expression, articulated by UU religious educator Connie Goodbread, that the congregation is the curriculum. So let's think on that for a minute. The congregation is the curriculum. And for me, basically that means how we are together is what is being taught, is what is being modeled, not necessarily a particular piece of information, but the relationship is what is remembered. And that children, really everyone, all of us, remember not necessarily what we are told, but how we were made to feel. And as a faith, a spiritual community, it is that grounding in relationship that is paramount. Relationship within, among, and beyond is at the heart of our theology, guided by the practice of covenant. Which then leads me to the question, are we able to be in relationship well when we are separated for most of our time together on a Sunday? Are we taking advantage of every opportunity to learn from one another? What can we learn, and how can we grow when we decide to create space and services that are accessible to a wide range of ages, learning styles, and other identities? Unitarian Universalism is actually one of the few faiths that practices this separation during worship services. I would prefer that we all worship together and also have time for religious education together. And in that RE time, we break out into groups that make sense for the kinds of learning we want to engage in. So think on that, all of us here together, and then also time for small groups after. We're going to get a taste of what that might look like in August. Relationship, bounded and defined by shared covenant, is at the heart of Unitarian Universalism. It is not an easy expression of faith, but actually a strenuous demand that we make promises to one another that we will then most likely break. I know I have done so many times. And then offer forgiveness and renew those promises again. But if we can make those promises and commit to the relationship, we can also reap great rewards. Much like the fish in the story that we heard today, our very survival may depend on recognizing that we are more interdependent than independent. And I'll say that again, that we are more interdependent than independent. Just about everything in the white supremacist, patriarchal, ableist, violent, capitalist culture we live in wants us to deny that truth, that we will survive, that we are more independent. They want us to feel, all those systems want us to feel that we are more independent than interdependent. But it is, we will survive through and because of our interdependence. That is the truth. Many would say independence is actually factually false. So when I say we all need all of us to survive, we all need all of us to survive. There are so many people among us in our larger community and in the world for whom our radical UU faith of acceptance, love, and humility will save their lives. And I mean that. What we offer here saves lives. As our UUA president, Susan Frederick Gray, says, this is no time for a casual faith. So perhaps this is what a yellow light can mean for us, that both between and throughout the times of rest and action that we all need, we know that we are held in community, in relationship, in this covenantal faith of Unitarian Universalism, that we as a people, as a congregation, have taken the time to know one another and offer support to one another. We have a chance right now to practice that a bit. For the past 2 Sundays, I've assembled what folks wrote down on their red and green lights onto our big traffic light, which is up on the bulletin board over there. And it was such a privilege to read what you all wrote. For rest, we like to take naps and cuddle with our partners. We like to ride bikes, water plants, take a walk, play music, paint, and many other things. And for when we've been brave, we're proud of when we've taught a class, taken dancing lessons, had strength to get through traumatic times, asked a partner to marry us, given a speech before hundreds, leaving one field of work to try another, and much more. All of these are posted on the bulletin board, so please do go take a look. But right now, if it feels good, turn to the person next to you or near you and share what you wrote down on your yellow circle just now. What supports you when you are in need? You take a moment to do that. And if you're watching online, some brave folks could share perhaps in the chat what it was that you thought of when you are support, what you need for support. This is a talk amongst yourselves moment.
I meditate.
You meditate.
And I think tomorrow is another day.
I really have to talk with a friend. And that's what's most supportive to me, is to talk something through. Yeah. I told them it would come at the very end. They'll bring it at the very end.
I said that I just go into the chalice lighting, but do I wait until next year because it says offering and then chalice?
Yeah, you can just stay here while they do. There's music. Lovely. I hope you had a learning moment there, that you got to hear a little bit more from those around you. Thank you for engaging with me this morning. And I leave you with these last words from Bell Hooks. Let us remember, the moment we choose to love, we begin to move against domination, against oppression. The moment we choose to love, we begin to move toward freedom, to act in ways that liberate ourselves and others. Amen, and blessed be.
And now it is time for our offering. We take an offering each week to sustain this space we call home and to support the work of this fellowship. The offering will now be gratefully received, and we thank you. now for the chalice extinguishing. We close our sacred time together when we extinguish our chalice with these words from you, Deborah Burrell. We have bathed in the warmth and beauty of this flame and community. As the chalice flame is extinguished, let us carry its glow within. Let us kindle new sparks within these walls and beyond.
Thank you, Linda and Della, for being partners with me this morning as we offered this service to everyone. There are a few folks who weren't here before we started and missed some of the announcements we shared, so I just wanted to quickly repeat some of those. We have our Blessing of the Backpacks coming up on Saturday, August 13th from 5 to 7, and that will be a party. So even if you are not of schooling age anymore, come and be with us as we do a supply drive for Wagner Middle School, which is named after one of our founding members, George Wagner. We will fill 20 backpacks for them, and we'll have a great time together, game night, pizza. I'm sorry, Sarah? And we need volunteers to help us with that. So speak to Sarah in the back or to myself if you would like to help. We are in need of Our Whole Lives facilitators. We would like to offer this comprehensive sexuality education to our 7th and 9th graders, and we need folks to be trained, to unrelated people to train to be facilitators for that. It's a deep commitment, but it is so incredibly meaningful. And the training will be at First UU in Austin in September, a weekend, and you will be fed well, so please consider it. Our next Sunday's service will be about our member Eric Walton's trip to Washington, D.C. as part of the Poor People's Campaign March. We are wanting to lift up how we need to fight poverty and not poor people. So come for that service next Sunday. And if you would like to help with creating a small handout to pass out in the sanctuary with these types of announcements on it, well, let me know. And I think we are done for today. And I don't know if we have coffee this morning or not, but if you would like to stay for a moment and have some conversation, please do. And we have some vegetables and herbs from our garden that you can take home, if you would like that. Thank you.